Let's welcome in our next guest without further delay because we're jam-packed this hour. We'll talk to Grover Norquist coming up in just a little bit. He is trying to hold Republicans' feet to the fire in the fiscal cliff talks. Justin Amash, the congressman from the west side of Michigan's in the midst of all that. He's one who has not exactly been towing the party line that's been laid out there by John Boehner, the House Speaker, and it maybe cost him a little bit, too. We'll check on that as well. Congressman Amash, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Frank. Very good. Thanks for having me.
What did you make of the offer that Boehner made to the White House yesterday?
Well, I think that I haven't looked through all the details of it, but I think that we're not getting where we need to get. Both parties have been really complicit in this, and so far what we've seen from the White House has been basically laughable, so we haven't really gotten anything out of them.
The Boehner plan, while we don't know the particulars of these deductions that he wants to eliminate, is based on raising revenues through a reduction in the number of tax deductions that we can claim, but no tax increase. I wonder whether those of you who are elected on a Tea Party platform are good with that.
Well, I think it's acceptable to look at some of the deductions and credits, but the compromise that has to be reached has to be a dramatic reform to entitlement spending, because when you look at our budget, the four biggest areas of the budget are Social Security, military spending, Medicare, and Medicaid, and the fastest growing areas of the budget are Medicare and Social Security. So if you don't deal with those programs, and that doesn't mean taking apart the programs, that means reforming them so they remain solvent. If you don't deal with those programs, they're going to consume the whole budget.
And yet, how do you go to people who are receiving these benefits, entitlements, if you will, and tell them, sorry, but times have changed. We can't give you that much anymore. We've got to take away your food stamps after 3 years, or we've got to reduce the amount that you receive in Social Security cost of living increases, or in Medicare payments, or even I don't know how you're going to stop Medicaid now with Obamacare, but in reducing all of these, how do you go to people who are already receiving them and tell them you're not going to get as much anymore?
Well, unfortunately, that's the problem we're in right now, is that if we make reforms immediately, if we try to put in place a program where we can phase in some of these changes so that people who are 55 and older don't have any dramatic changes and preferably no changes to the programs they're on right now. If we don't do that immediately, then we're going to get closer and closer to the point where we have to make changes to everyone, even those who are currently receiving benefits, and we don't want to go in that direction. So those of us who are fighting for a more responsible budget are saying, let us reform the programs now so that young people can operate in a different fashion than those who are at or near retirement. That way we don't have to change the benefits for those who are at or near retirement, and we can gradually improve our budget situation.
What sort of looks do you get when you say that on Capitol Hill, though? Because that's similar to what Paul Ryan was saying in his original plan, wasn't it?
Sure, and unfortunately right now you have a situation where a lot of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are going out and claiming that there isn't a problem here, that we don't have a problem funding Social Security and Medicare in the long run, and we do in fact have a problem. All you have to do is look at the budget and look at the numbers and the growth in spending.
Well, the Congressional Budget Office says we've got a problem. Even the White House economists have said we've got a looming problem here, and this goes back, these warnings, to the Clinton administration.
Sure, absolutely, and there are people like me in Congress who are calling for an approach where both parties sit down and deal with this problem together. I'm not asking Democrats only to make compromises. Republicans have to make compromises too. But let's look at some kind of comprehensive change in the system. It's not acceptable for Democrats or the president to come to Republicans and say, you've got to raise taxes, but we're not going to do anything. So let's get together, and Republicans, the same thing to them. It's not acceptable for Republicans to ask the Democrats to make a lot of changes without looking at their own programs. So I'm calling on both sides to get to the table and actually come out with some compromise that really does something for the American people, not just for them.
Okay, Congressman, you've always been a very independent thinker, had libertarian beliefs, if I can call them that, or conservative beliefs. Yep. and you look to be paying the price for that now. We hear that there was a meeting of the steering committee of the House Republicans this week, and they had a spreadsheet showing how everybody voted on various issues in towing the party line, and those that didn't, you included, lost your committee assignments, and you got kicked off the budget committee as a result.
Well, I made it clear to my constituents and leadership here that when I arrived in Congress, I wasn't going to vote to increase the debt. I wasn't going to continue to spend like there's no tomorrow, and that's what's been going on here. So when we've had these continuing appropriations bills, I expect some reforms to government, and my constituents expect that too. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. We cannot keep going down the same path. So if our leadership team or the establishment is happy with the 10% approval rating that Congress has, then they can keep going down the same path, and we're going to continue to have a 10% approval rating or worse. And frankly, Republicans are going to find themselves in the minority again if they continue down this path. So I'm not the one being unreasonable here. I'm calling on both sides to get together and work on this problem. And when you look at the Budget Committee, I voted 95% of the time with my own committee. So they think I'm a problem, but 95% of the time is apparently a problem in Congress. That's not good enough for them. Yeah. Those 5% of being independent is too much for them to take.
All right. Well, you'll be able to live without it. This too shall pass, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks for being with us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Frank.
Take care. Congressman Justin Amash.